So a lot of people really like the Soundcore Liberty 4 Pro, and we now got a sequel. Soundcore just dropped 2 new pairs of earbuds, the Liberty 5 Pro and 5 Pro Max, with tons of wild new features, and even a Guinness World Record for call quality.
Full throttle right now. Like, if I was weed whacking, I could technically have a conversation on the phone right now.
These earbuds are aiming to solve some real-world issues with better call quality, easier settings adjustments, and a more custom experience, which makes sense. Like, Soundcore is always really pushing the envelope when it comes to earbud features and headphone features, and these in particular have probably about 4 or 5 features that almost no other earbuds on the market offer. And this year, like I said, there are 2 models, the Soundcore Liberty 5 Pro and the Soundcore Liberty 5 Pro Max. These models have a few key differences, such as the larger case display and AI note-taker feature that I'll talk about later, but since the earbuds themselves are the same, I'll bundle them together for the ANC test, the microphone test, transparency evaluation, and sound quality discussion throughout this video. So, like I said, Soundcore Liberty 5 Pro and 5 Pro Max, the earbuds are the same, the cases very different, with some very different features on the cases as well. Now, Soundcore sent these over ahead of launch and sponsored this video, so to keep this as unbiased as possible, I'll show you all the new features, we'll talk about the specs, the details, everything you need to know about these, but I'll also include a lot of real-world testing so you can see for yourself and make your own decision. And whenever there's a comparison necessary, for example, ANC, to know relatively how good these are, I'll compare them to the Liberty 4 Pro, also from Soundcore. So let's start off with the case design. One of the biggest aspects of these earbuds. We've got a couple different colors available, but looking at the screens on them, the Pro model has a little screen on the front, slide left and right to go through a number of different settings on here, and then on the Pro Max, you have a larger display on the top, and again, both of these do slide open. You can see the earbuds, as I mentioned before, are identical, but looking at the back of these cases, they both have USB Type-C, they both have a little button for pairing, but you'll also notice the Pro Max has a microphone on there. There's a new feature on here called AI Note-Taker, which I'll test out and demonstrate in a minute, but going through the case a little bit more, you've got a color display on the Pro Max, and this one feels a lot more kind of like a smartwatch interface, so you could swipe down and get your quick settings, you could swipe up and go through like a number of different things you want to get into. For example, live translation, note taker, you want to change the wallpaper, change settings with your earbuds. You could swipe from the home screen from the left to the right, and that'll give you playback controls, or you could swipe the other way and kind of swipe through a number of key settings, which you can choose which ones you want to change. All the models have wireless charging, they're IP55 water and dust resistant. The Liberty 5 Pros come in 4 colors. You've got blue, black, pink, and white. The Pro Max comes in 2 colors, titanium and black. The titanium colorway is kind of this goldish color right here. It's just the name of the color. It's not actually a different material here, but sort of a light brown metallic color. I actually really like the way this one looks. Remember how I said these had a Guinness World Record for microphone quality? Let's go outside and test it in a loud environment and see how well it's able to actually block out sounds around me and isolate my voice.
All right, so this is an outdoor microphone test. There's obviously a bit of traffic behind me, some loud trucks going by. It's windy out here. This is definitely a tough environment for any microphone. Let me know how these sound, and I'll give you an example of just my phone microphone. All right, so now this is what it sounds like with just my phone microphone. Obviously, a lot of ambient noise. All right, guys, this is crazy. I have to refilm this test. I was just like pushing the limits on this. I wanted to see like what this actually could do. I got out my weed whacker. So check this out. I'm going to start it up. Running. You can tell it's running. You can still hear me what I'm saying, right? But watch this. I'm going to go to full throttle. It is full throttle right now. Like, if I was weed whacking, I could technically have a conversation on the phone right now. This is insane. Like, it's hard to tell. That was running at full throttle. These earbuds actually do block a lot of sound.
All right, now this one's for the doubters out there. This is just phone audio right now. They do the same thing. It's pretty loud. It's definitely louder than me. Yeah, it's loud. The earbuds did block a lot.
And now this is an indoor microphone test using the Soundcore Liberty 5 Pro Max. Like I said, the Liberty 5 Pro is going to be really identical in terms of microphone performance, but let me know how this sounds in a quieter indoor environment.
And as far as ANC goes, you have 5 levels of ANC. You could also go into adaptive mode. I find that the ANC, pretty clean, not a lot of white noise. In a silent room, these are pretty silent, which is pretty good. But in louder environments, they definitely are significantly better than a Liberty 4 Pro. Based on my test where I just turn up the sound of a jet, and see at what level the earbuds are no longer able to comfortably block it out. We were getting about 54, 55 decibels on the Liberty 4 Pro, and then the Liberty 5 Pro and Pro Max were both blocking significantly more. So 54 on the 4 Pro, about 62 on the 5 Pro, which is one of the biggest improvements in ANC I've seen generation over generation among any earbuds out there. So this effectively blocks out HVAC and other sounds. If you're commuting with these, they do a pretty good job. It's definitely really better at lower frequencies. Some of the higher overtones can sneak through from like my speaker, for example, when I was playing those jet sounds, but they definitely get the job done with blocking those lower frequencies really quite well. So as far as the transparency goes, there is a small amount of hissing and white noise, but overall fairly clean. They could be a tad more neutral and a tad louder in terms of frequency levels, but I mean, you're not going to forget these are in your ears, but they certainly get the job done if you need to hear your surroundings or know, like when somebody walks up to you. Well, in the box, you get a short charging cable, you get 4 extra sets of ear tips and 2 extra sets of wing tips. So the ear tips help to create a seal in your ear for better sound, isolation, and ANC, while the wing tips help to hold it inside your ear. And if you don't like them, you can always remove them and put like the smallest one on, which is basically just a plastic cap that blocks off where the ear tip would be. And everyone's ears are different, so it's nice to see such a customizable fit. For example, my left and right ear, I actually have different wingtips on there that make it much more comfortable for each ear. As far as fit and security go, these stay in my ears very well. I've done a number of workouts with these. They're very comfortable. My ears don't seem to get fatigued. Just you want to make sure that you go and try the different sizes and make sure you have the right one. I also appreciate that the silicone ear tips have a little mesh screen on them to make cleaning easier. As far as controls go on these earbuds, obviously you can do a lot of controlling on the case, but on the earbuds themselves, you can tap on either one. You know, it's multiple taps as well for playback controls, and you can slide up and down for volume controls as well. And if you want to control your music, you can do that on the case. Now, you might be wondering, why would you want a display on a case? It's something that I've thought about a lot. I've seen a lot of debates. I've talked to a lot of people about this. The real benefit is going to be if you're connecting to a device that doesn't have the app. Obviously, on your phone, you can open the app and you can change all the settings you want. But if you're connected to a laptop or a gaming console or literally anything else that doesn't have the soundcore app on it, this allows you to then adjust the level of ANC or spatial audio or the volume or really a number of things customized for the earbuds directly from the case. Same thing if you're connecting to somebody else's device. Maybe you are on a plane, for example, connecting to the screen on the back of a seat. Again, that's not going to have the app, so the display on the case allows you to customize everything without having to disconnect, connect to a phone, change the settings, and then connect back. Like, it's just a little bit more streamlined this way. And with the controls, as you can see right here, you're able to customize them in the app, so you can choose if single press is going to, do anything or just have nothing so you don't accidentally touch it. You've got the same thing for double, triple, and long press and other things related to calls, but you also have 22 or more than 22 built-in commands. So there's like hand-free voice commands. You can tell it to like pause and play and things like that, which again is a little more useful if you're like your hands are full, maybe you're working out, something like that. All right, so here's a quick little demo on the playback controls, the voice controls here. So I'll just say play music. As you can see, it started fairly quickly. Stop music. Play music. Next track. Volume up. Volume up. Volume up. Stop music. Yeah, so it's actually really responsive. That was very quick. I think this would be quite useful if you were working out or, something is in your hands, maybe you have groceries or whatever. That's actually really well done. And I guess I might as well do a slightly deeper dive right now into the case. Starting off with the Pro Max, if you double tap on it, it'll turn on, or if you just open the case, it turns on. You can swipe up to unlock. That way it locks in your pocket and you're not changing settings by accident. If you swipe down from the top, you have the ability to toggle between different Bluetooth devices. You've got the ability to turn on spatial audio. You've got the easy chat, which just allows you, if it's on, you can start talking. It'll turn the volume down, turn on transparency. You can have a conversation. And when you're done, it automatically turns your music back on. We also have volume, brightness, and your settings there. If you swipe up from the bottom, these are all of your apps on this device. So you've got ambient sound, that's going to be your transparency or ANC levels. You've got the brightness, you've got Dolby Audio, which is like a spatial 360 head tracking. You've got face-to-face translation, so live translate essentially with a ton of different languages. You've got AI note taker, which like I said, we will test out in a minute. You can change the wallpaper, you've got music playback controls. AI sound enhancement is a setting that allows you to essentially like do a little super resolution AI upscaling of your audio. You've got sound effects on here, which is going to essentially be your equalizer. And there's a number of different EQs that are preset on here, and you can customize them in the app as well on your phone. You've got multi-device connection, so if you have multiple different devices these are connected to, you can toggle between them. And you've got settings and of course remote camera on here. If you swipe from the left, you get your playback controls for the song. And if you swipe from the right, you get your ambient sound control and your sound effects. So much more advanced than what we're seeing on the 5 Pros, but not everyone's going to need that. So it's nice that you have these two different options here. And as far as what the AI note taker does, let me put the earbuds back in the case because the case does have microphones. It's going to be using those microphones and recording on here, and it'll show up on your phone later. So let me open that right now. You just tap on AI note taker, and then you just tap to start recording. And so it shows me it's recording. You can see the time. You can add little flags in there. So if you're recording something and it's like an important bit you want to go back to later, and you can also tap on the check mark as well, which will just save it and end it right there, or you could pause it. That transfers it over to your phone. And if you go into the app, you can go to AI Note Taker. You can see the notes, they're transcribed. You've got intelligent summary on there. You just have to tap on generate. It can also identify multiple different speakers. It can give you a one-page summary. There's a lot of things it can do right here. It can make meeting minutes out of this. So if you have this in meetings, that could summarize it all for you in the app. And there are some more advanced kind of sound related settings. So you can change the playback speed, you can do voice enhancement, and you can skip the silent segments as well. Also, during the AI note taker, if you press the button on the back, the little actual physical button on your earbuds case, that's going to put a little flag in there so you can find it later. And also the recordings are initially saved to your earbuds case, and then later when you connect your phone, or if your phone's connected to the real time, at the end of the recording, it'll sync over to your phone and you'll be able to manage everything there. There are also smart template suggestions, so you can choose if you are like in a meeting, conversation, presentation, or other things like that, and it can kind of format things based on what you choose for that. So that's why it's called AI Note Taker. It kind of has some smarter things related to that. A couple other notes in regards to the microphones. These also have 10 total sensors for audio pickup, so 8 microphones and 2 bone conduction microphones. But leave a comment and let me know how the microphones sound to you. So I want to talk a little bit more about the different features that you have available in the app on the Soundcore app. So we already saw like AI Note Taker and a lot of things you can do specifically on the earbuds case itself, but when you actually go into the app, you'll see we have 2 options here. We've got the earbuds, the Liberty 5 Pro Max, and below that, you can see the box. That's what they call it. It's a case, essentially. And you can change the wallpaper on here, so you're able to upload a custom wallpaper. I've got a couple options right here, and they have some other included ones down below that come by default. You also have AI Note Taker there. If you tap on that, like I said, you'll see all the files will show up here, and you can tap into any one of them, and like I said, you can go to that transcription and the summary and stuff like that. But let's go back and check out the earbuds themselves. So if you tap on the earbuds, you can change the ambient sound level. If we tap on sound effects, that's going to be your equalizer, and we've got 3 main options. So you've got the classic, which is going to be the preset EQ, so it's going to be like powerful bass or clear vocals. But you also have a custom EQ, which is going to be an 8-band EQ, and you can adjust that right here. If you just tap into more, you're able to adjust that, and you can make some custom EQs and save them as well. And if you go back, the third option is the little preference test, which is based on Hear ID 5.0 now, which is going to be like a little questionnaire walking you through different sounds. I'm going to play sound A and sound B, and you choose which one sounds better to you. So you don't have to know like what frequencies you want to emphasize. You just listen and say, that sounds better to me, and it's going to build a custom EQ based on your own preference right there. We also have, of course, on the bottom, hearing protection, so you can turn that on right now. It's going to be a decibel limiter, which could be very useful if you're somebody who has a tendency to damage your ears from loud sounds. Definitely want to be careful with that. Otherwise, if we tap on the gear icon in the top right, you've got the wear detection, so automatically playing and pausing from taking them in or out of your ears. You've got multi-device connection, so these can actually connect to up to 3 devices at the same time, which is significantly better. Most earbuds with multi-point connect to 2 devices at once. 3 is pretty nice if you have like a personal phone, a work phone, and a laptop. If you're like working on your laptop and then you get a phone call, it'll automatically switch over very easily, which I think is a pretty nice feature to have. You've got the fit test on here to make sure that you have the correct seal in your ear. Easy chat I mentioned earlier, and auto power off if you just take them out and set them down. How long is it going to take until the earbuds actually turn off to save the battery and make them findable later in case you lose your earbuds? Also, we have smart voice control. I mentioned that earlier when I was talking about controls, but this just kind of shows you what the controls are. If you turn it on, you can say start playing, pause audio, next track, things like that, to really adjust what the earbuds are doing without having to touch anything. Now, what are all the differences between the Liberty 5 Pro and Liberty 5 Pro Max? Well, the Liberty 5 Pro Max add the AI Note Taker, like I said. You've got the larger screen with a more complete UI, and you have the ability to change the wallpaper on there. Otherwise, the earbuds themselves, as I said, are going to be identical. In fact, you could even swap them out. You can put one pair of earbuds in the other case, and I believe they should be able to charge. Yeah, they do charge. I mean, it's not ideal to do that, but technically that's just proving that the earbuds, again, are going to be the same. As far as some key specs go, the battery life on these, 6.5 hours in the earbuds, 28 hours when you include that case. That is with ANC on. When you have no ANC, you get 12 hours in the earbuds and 50 hours in the case. You also have a fast charge, so 5 minutes of charging gives you 4 hours of playback. And this is powered by what Soundcore is calling the world's first neural net computer in memory AI audio chip. The intent is to provide better ANC, better sound, better voice control, cleaner microphone performance as we saw earlier. And compared to the Soundcore Liberty 4 Pro, this has 150 times more computing power, so pretty significant improvement. And I think you can kind of see that in like just how simple the UI was in the 4s. I thought that little touch thing on the front was like nifty, but definitely not nearly as useful as the touch screen that we have on both the models now. As far as sound quality goes on these do have LDAC, so high resolution audio codec there is available, Bluetooth 6.1, Hear ID 5.0, as I mentioned earlier, for customizing it for yourself. They have Dolby Atmos head tracking, so the 360 sound is available. All right, so conclusion. These are obviously a huge step up compared to the Liberty 4 Pro in ANC, in sound quality, in the case design. There's a lot that they do significantly better, in my opinion. As far as the price goes on these, it's $169.99 for the Liberty 5 Pro and $229.99 for the Liberty 5 Pro Max. If you're interested in buying a pair or learning more, I'll have links down in the description down below. And Soundcore is letting you try before you buy with a buy now, pay later option at checkout, again, using the link down below. So thanks for watching the video. Let me know what you think about these earbuds. Would you use a case with a display on it? And if so, what would you use it for?